Morning, Aldine Transportation. Good deal, good deal. It is great to see your shining faces this morning. As people are still trickling in, let's begin to govern ourselves accordingly so that we can begin our business meeting. And while we are quiet, let's go ahead and start our meeting with, as always, a call of order and a prayer. So take a few moments just for a moment of silence. There's been a lot going on all around in transportation, as well as in the world, just period. So take a few moments of silence, and you may have some things that you want to lift up. Take a few moments and do that, and then I'll come on and give us a word real quick. Oh God, there's a lot of things that's going on around us, all around us. But we rest in knowing that you are still in control. We are a part of Aldine ISD. We are the transportation department. And we do not think that we are so safe daily as to that you don't keep us and keep us from making mistakes. So I ask that you continue to watch over each and every person and that's a part of this department, because it takes all of us to make this thing work. We are not perfect, but we try to do the best that we can. Cover us in the areas that we fail. And may we not be complacent in what we do daily. Because bad things happen when complacency sets in. Let us continue to grow as professionals, leading the charge through this district and transporting people wherever they need to go. And may we take pride in what we do, because the truth is the district couldn't function without us. So we're thankful for our jobs. And again, just watch over us and keep us. It is in your name that we pray. Amen. Good morning again. It's good to see you guys. Real quick, I want to give you guys this because I don't want to forget at the end of the meeting. So we take attendance on safety meetings. And we have been compiling a lot of data from a lot of the things that we've already done. Rest assured in knowing that people that intentionally skip out on these meetings will be called to the carpet. So don't you get weary in well-doing. Continue to do what you are supposed to do, which is come to every safety meeting, because the day is coming where there will be some accountability. We thank you for doing what you're supposed to do. As our bosses thank us, we thank you, because we are all one unit. And it is very much appreciated. So give yourselves a round of applause for taking care of your business and transporting our students. Moving along, we have our Employee of the Month. Our Employee of the Month, of course, is each and every one of you, but we can only select one. And that Employee of the Month is coming from the North Side this particular month. And that employee is Mr. Robert Morris. Is Mr. Robert Morris here? Is he here? Okay. Robert Morris is an employee of the North Side by way of the West Side. Very faithful in what he does, very diligent in his duties, and we are celebrating him this month. And real quick, before I go any further, and I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. Do we have any employees that had a birthday in the month of September? Can you raise your hand? We didn't acknowledge it in September, and that's my fault. Any employees? September. Okay. Moving forward, any employees with a birthday in the month of October, can you wave your hands? Okay, it's good to see you. We're going to do one big round of applause at the end for everybody. Employees with the birthday in the month of November. Let's give everybody a round of applause for their birthdays. We celebrate you guys. Absolutely. All right. Now, we're doing a couple of different things for attendance. So we will have 3 major giveaways for perfect attendance. Those 3 major giveaways will be one from each facility. They will receive a gift card for $25. Okay? And then with our attendance, since our facilities are different sizes, so starting with the north side, we know that they are the fewest in numbers in terms of routes. So there will be 2 recognized from the north side facility. The east side now is second in size in terms of routes and numbers. So the persons out of the east side, there will be 3 elected for perfect attendance. And the west side, since it is now the largest facility in terms of routes, there will be 4 people recognized for perfect attendance from the west side. Along with that, we are also adding drawings for people who are accident-free for the month. Okay? They will receive also a $25 gift card. So, we're going to call it out, but you're going to see it all at the same time. So let's take a look at it. From the north side facility, and you read it going down, and you also have it in your packet. The perfect attendance person from the north side facility is Florentine Marino. Florentine Marino. You hear? And at the end of this, you can see your payroll, and they will have the gift cards for you. We have, for the $10 gift cards for perfect attendance, 2 out of the north side facility. We have Miss Judy Berwick. Miss Judy Berwick, you here? Just wave your hand if you're here. All right, all right. And Luther Williamson. There he is right there. There he is. And that accident-free person that actually won from the drawing is Miss Stacy Dorsey. Is she in the building? Ah, there she is. Let me borrow $25, Miss Stacy. All right, from the West facility, perfect attendance for the month is Miss Darlene O'Farrell. Miss Darlene here? There she is, that money make her smile. I see you. All right, for the $10 gift cards, we have Miss Mary Blackburn. Miss Mary Blackburn. There she is, faithful. Miss Teresa Carroll, are you here? Andre Poor Baby. Are you here, Mr. Andre Poor Baby? Not here. And Miss Melva Wills. Is Melva one? Melva Wills not here? All right, and the accident-free person goes to Miss Lori Whitten. There she is, crowd favorite. Good deal. All right, out of the East facility, the $25 gift card winner is Miss Paula Rogers. Miss Paula, you here? There she is over there. And you can donate to me if you want. I'm just going to put that out there. $10 gift cards. There are 3 coming out of the east side. Got Miss Gloria Iracheta. Miss Gloria, you here? Oh, that is correct. That is correct. Emilio Caballero. Mr. Emilio, you here? Karen Harris. Miss Karen Harris. Y'all know Miss Karen Harris? Ever heard of her? Hey, Miss Karen. And the accident-free person is Miss Yolanda Perales. Miss Yolanda, there she is. And I'm just saying, you can donate all that you don't want to me. Make Christmas great. Now, anybody else in the building that had perfect attendance for the month of October, please wave your hand to be recognized. Let's give them a round of applause, you guys, for everybody that received gift cards. And thank you guys for your perfect attendance. All right. The next thing that we have up is Mr. DeBose. He's going to come forward. He's going to discuss some accident comparisons. What you will see is accident comparisons from the last 3 months, September, October, November, from the years of 2015, 2016, and 2017. What that allows us to do is take a look back at the data and see how we are doing with the accidents we're having thus far. There is a difference between an accident and an incident. They're all situations, but he's going to go into what the dollar amount is that kind of separates the difference between those two so that you can know.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kelly. Good morning. Okay, we have here the accidents comparison from 2015 to 2017. Okay, accidents and incidents. We need to know the difference between the two. An accident, basically these are damages over $1,000, and incidents, damages under $1,000. So when you're involved, you say, well, I'm going to fill out an incident report. No, you don't fill out an incident report. You fill out it's a blue form. And a while back, they were like white forms because someone made copies of it and it showed black and white. But they should be blue forms now. But you fill out a blue form. It's going to say accident, but it's up to the Accident Review Board to determine if it's an incident. Okay, as far as we had 17 at-fault collisions, 13 of them basically were fixed objects or parked vehicles. This was last year, and I think I talked to you about that last month in reference to the fixed objects. What you have to do is just be careful, especially when you're backing up, and if you see a tight squeeze, because I know a lot of times you're on the street, and you see a car to the left, see a car to the right, or a vehicle, and you try to squeeze between those two. Then if something happens, then it most likely would be an incident. Or sometimes it can be an accident depending on the speed that you're traveling. Okay, this is a comparison here. Based on the month, like in September, October, November. In 2015, we had 8 at-fault accidents. 2016-17, we had 8. 2017-18, which is this school year, 0. So you can see that there's a reduction here from 8 to 0. That's good. You should be commended on that. Hand clap, hello, high five, whatever. So that's good because if you look at other companies, the 18-wheeler companies, if you pass by and look at the billboard, they might say that we are 2 accidents at fault this month. And see, all that is based upon accidents because you know the 18-wheelers, if they're at fault, it can cost several $100,000, even $1 million. Because you know when you look on TV, you might see these accidents with the 18-wheelers turning over with chemicals and various other things and damages. So these companies, they're based upon the accidents. And we're basically the same thing too, because we're looking at the cost, how much it's going to cost to fix these other folks' vehicles and so forth. And that's the main thing here in transportation, the accidents. And what are we doing to prevent those accidents? That's why you have in-services and various other things so that you could be informed on certain things. Another thing is that some of you may feel complacent. "Oh, I've been driving for 5, 10 years. I haven't had an accident, so therefore I'm not going to attend the safety meetings. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that." But if you do get into an accident, then you have the remedial training. At times that you may get suspended too as well. It just depends on various things. Now, if you look at October in 2015-16, there were 9 at-fault accidents. 2016-17, there were 13. And look at right now, 2017-18, 4. So you're doing something good, and just keep on doing it. Then if you look at November 2015-16, there were 9. 2016-17, 13. Now, this year, 2017-18, 4. That's a drastic reduction. Reducing yourself from accidents from 8, 0, 9, 13 to 4, 9, 13 to 4. That's tremendous, and you should be commended on that. And just basically keep up the good work. Now, look at the vehicle damage assessed. This was an at-fault accident about 3 years ago on the last day of school. And this is the vehicle that the bus driver hit. And if you look close enough, you're going to say, "Where's the damage? Where's the damage?" And the question is, how much did this cost Aldine? And you look at it, you say, "Well, I don't see any damage." But close enough, there's basically a little scuff mark on the tire. The panel has a little dent where you have to look at it at an angle to see it. That cost $1,200. $1,200. And this was like 3 years ago. And as you know, paint and body shops, they increase most of the time. Obviously, if you go to the dealer, it would be even higher. But just by looking at that picture, you're looking at $1,200. And as you know, there have been many accidents where vehicles were totaled, various other things were taking place. And again, that's just a small number. I mean, we've had some accidents, at-fault accidents, that hovered around $120,000 just for one accident. And who pays for it? Aldine pays for it. And as I mentioned earlier, our insurance company, we are self-insured. We're self-insured. We don't deal with Geico and State Farm and so forth. If something happens, okay, we'll take care of it. When we pay for these accidents, it comes straight out of Aldine's budget. Straight out of Aldine's budget. Okay, if you need training, as I mentioned earlier, check with the academy if you feel that you need training. And as you know, Rose and Tanya are always here to help you. And again, don't ever get complacent enough where you think you know everything and something can happen. This is why we have safety meetings, just to refresh your memory on the various other things. Well, getting back to the accidents, the most typical accidents that we've had, or should I say incidents, are hitting fixed objects and backing up. And I think I talked with you last month about backing up. That's the most scariest thing to do, is to back up, even in your own vehicle, mainly because you just don't know what's out there. There are many times I back up in that truck, coming from my house, and there's this little old lady standing there pointing her finger at me. I didn't even know that the lady was there. You look and you think everything's clear, and then all of a sudden, someone's out there. So again, that's one of the main things as far as accidents, incidents. We've had basically running into fixed objects or backing into fixed objects. And like I said earlier about the tight squeeze, if you have vehicles out there and you need to pass, you need to call dispatch, and we'll send someone out there. All right.
Thank you, Mr. DeBose. You guys, that's part of the reason why we gave the measurements of the mirrors that we have on our buses, so that we could be aware of our proximity. Sometimes it's just proximity. We're driving commercial vehicles. They're large. The mirrors protrude, and we just need to be aware of it. So thank you for that information. Oh, okay. All right, so the EPA. What is the EPA? The Environmental Protection Agency. What the EPA does, they regulate the policies across the United States when it's dealing with health and human services. They're the ones that regulate anything dealing with fuel, oil spills in the Gulf, oxygen, pollution. They are the agency that governs all of that. And so since we deal with pollution and we also deal with fuel, there are some requirements that they have of us. They require an SPCC and an FRP. Now, a lot of this information is helpful if we have persons that aspire to do different things within the transportation field. So you may want to take heed and take notes of that. What is the SPCC? It's the Spill Prevention, Control, and Countermeasure. The EPA requires us to have a plan in the event that a spill should happen. Okay? They require each facility to develop, maintain, and implement a spill prevention plan. And so since we deal with fuel and it's flammable, etc., we do have to submit certain plans. And that's what the FCP is, the Facility Response Plan. And each facility has this plan there at the actual facility. They require certain facilities that store and use fuel and oil to prepare us or submit a plan in case of a spillage. There is an actual plan that goes into effect in the event that we have spillage, okay? And we also have equipment that we bring out in the event that there's a spillage. So keeping in mind, when there's a spillage, there are certain things that we have to do. But before we get to that part of it, Mark, we're getting ready to start our fuel training video.
In this course, we're going to be talking about some important safety procedures to practice when fueling a bus or working around fuel islands. You already know that to be safe when working with flammable liquids like gasoline, oil, or diesel, you must exercise extra caution to prevent a fire from starting or worse, an explosion. The OSHA standard for flammable and combustible liquids can be found at 29 CFR 1910.06. First, all fuel islands must be equipped with a clearly identified and easily accessible circuit breaker or switch located in an area away from dispensing devices. This will allow you to shut off the power in the event of an emergency. If you do any fueling, be sure you know where the emergency shutoff switch is and how to use it. Also, make sure there's an emergency shutoff sign by the shutoff switch that everyone can see. Never use a fuel pump that doesn't have an emergency cutoff system. And if you become aware of such a situation at your location, tell your supervisor immediately. There should be no smoking or open flames anywhere near the fuel islands and service areas. Signs prohibiting smoking should be posted by all fuel islands. If your fuel island doesn't have these signs, tell your supervisor right away. The engines of any and all equipment being fueled must always be shut off during the fueling process. Never use a portable radio or cell phone near the fueling station. They can emit static electricity that can lead to an explosion. Finally, you should have a fire extinguisher within 75 feet of each pump, portable dispenser, underground fill pipe opening, and service area. Become familiar with the safe use of fire extinguishers and always know where they are. You should never climb into a vehicle while the fuel is being pumped into the tank. Climbing in and out of your vehicle can create an electric charge on you, and static electricity has been known to ignite gasoline fumes. Stand at the pump and monitor the fueling in case anything goes wrong, like the tank overflowing. Most of the time, the pump will shut off once the tank is filled, but not always. You don't want to spill all that fuel on the ground, which is why it's so important to stay on guard at the pump when fueling. Remember, never use a fuel pump that doesn't have an emergency cutoff system. Also, there should never be any smoking or open flames anywhere near the fuel islands and service areas. Finally, the engines of any and all equipment being fueled must always be shut off during the fueling process. Thank you for paying attention to this important OSHA topic.
You guys don't know anybody that fuels their bus with their bus running, do you? Y'all know anybody that does that, right? That's one of the biggest no-nos you could do when dealing with fuel. And I'm sure we've all been guilty of it at some point or another, whether it's your personal vehicle or not. But let's please be mindful of that. That's not something that we want to do, is have the bus running definitely while we're fueling. The other thing, did you hear him say anything about static electricity or cell phone usage? Has been known to ignite gasoline. So we want to refrain from using our cell phones while fueling. It's just always best practice to do that. It's always best practice to do that. Now, one of the key things that the OSHA representative said was that never use a fueling system that does not have a shutoff valve there or a shutoff switch. Do you guys know where they're located at the different facilities? Well, let's take a look at it. This is the Northside facility. This particular emergency shutoff switch is located on the east side of the bus wash. That's it there. And this is a close-up of it. Very important to know where that is located in the event of an emergency. Be familiar. Don't just drive the buses and drop kids off and pick them up. There are certain things that we need to be cognitive of as professionals because we deal with so much stuff. And that's one of them. The East Side Facility Annex, are we familiar with where that one is? By the pumps, right? And most times you'll see them with a ballot in front of them. That's the emergency switch right there. In the event of emergency, and when I say emergency, gas is spewing out everywhere. Not like you just dripped a little bit out from the nozzle, an actual emergency. All right. The East Side Facility bus wash. Can you locate where it is? Right here along the wall. If you fuel at that facility, you need to know where that is, and that's what it looks like close up. The stadium. At the stadium, notice that you see the softball field in the background. You need to know where that emergency pump is, and it's actually south of where those pumps are right there, the unleaded pumps. And at the west side, located over by the tanks, and OSHA requires them to all have a sign. They all have signs because we stay in compliance with it. Any questions about any of that? We know where they're all located? Good. Well, I don't know why that moved over like that. But in the event of a spill, secure the pump and notify administration immediately. What do we mean by secure the pump? If you've wasted some because you weren't paying attention at the nozzle, secure the pump. Place it back, then go and notify administration so we can go into our spill prevention mode. In the event that something out of the ordinary should happen. Like we drive off with the nozzle inside of the bus and the hose comes off and gas is now spewing from the actual pump. That would be a situation where we go and hit the emergency fuel shutoff switch. That would prevent it from spewing out anymore. And then we definitely immediately go notify administration because there are some things that got to take place from there. So those are some things that we need to know. Last couple of things. Have you guys heard anything about reconfiguration? About the district reconfiguring? Changing some boundaries? Maybe a little bit. You'll hear more about it, and it's coming up. As a result, the district is asking us to give them head counts. They're trying to get an accurate number of kids that they think we're going to be able to transport or that we're going to have to transport next year. As a result, we're doing some work with the hazardous walk areas. We're doing some work with how many buses the district is planning on purchasing. And also, they need head counts. So what we're asking you to do is do a head count for every single run. Hold on, hey, nudge your neighbor to your right and nudge your neighbor to the left. They need to hear this. They need to hear it. They need to hear it. Everybody needs to do a head count. Every single run. And we need to turn it in by Friday when you come in from your PM route. So do a head count of every single student, every single run on your route, and have accurate numbers for us to turn it in Friday afternoon when you come in. And what's going to happen is, and there are a lot of meetings taking place right now because the district is building new schools. Some schools are being torn down. Some are being erected. So a lot of boundaries are changing in where students are going to be going to school, etc., which is why we went ahead and built the Northside facility. It just made sense, right, with all that we're doing and growing and expanding. So we definitely need that head count. Correct. Read that number 1, you guys. Take a moment and read that. All Aldine ISD employees must be clocked in before operating any district equipment. You must be on the clock before you operate a bus, before you operate a wheelchair, before you operate a forklift. Whatever your role is and you operate that equipment, you must be on the clock before you operate that equipment. You must be. And I already talked about the head count. And then I got to give you guys some kudos real quick. So, we drive, we go everywhere, we take field trips, and we say, hey, nobody's paying attention. Nobody notices me. I'm just going about my merry way. Not true. We had some drivers take a field trip out to Magnolia. I believe it was to the Renaissance Festival. Any of those drivers in here? This is what they said. And I'll read you the email that I got. I received a call yesterday about our buses in Magnolia. The training supervisor of Magnolia ISD called to commend us on how orderly our buses came into the event and how well behaved the students were. Yeah, they talking about our kids. Yes, our kids. Our kids know how to act. Don't do that. Don't do that to my babies. All seated, talking about the students, all seated and exiting the buses in orderly fashion. Yes, our kids. Goodness, y'all need to stop. She stressed how professional our drivers were. I don't know if they were east, west, or north. And then after that, I'll tell you this. But we actually checked and confirmed that each facility had buses there. So kudos to Aldine ISD Transportation, transporting the nation's best. And it goes further. Look, people that wasn't doing what they were supposed to do, they're like, what else he gonna say? It's all good, I promise. The Magnolia training supervisor said, I don't hand out kudos often, but your drivers did such a good job and someone needs to tell them. Good job, you guys. Good job. And there were a number of buses, in excess of 15. And she said our buses rolled into that place and we made a really good impression. And of course, that's what we like hearing. So again, hip hip hooray for Aldine ISD Transportation. You guys rock. You guys rock. And that's behalf on Dr. Metcalf and the entire administration that appreciate everything that you guys do. We know that you have a tough job. It's a lot that you got to watch. You're transporting precious cargo daily, and we really appreciate it. And just when you think nobody's looking, just when you think nobody's watching, they are. Remember, there are over 100 school districts in the state of Texas. So no matter where you roll, there's going to be somebody that's paying attention. Real quick announcement about tags. So we understand that it's November and we got a break coming up, etc. This is not the time to stop allowing your parents or having your parents pick up their kids with their tags. It's not the time. Continue to have them have their tags. You may know that that's their baby, but the star driver that drives that route the day you're absent, or supervisor driver that drives that route when you're absent, may not know. They may not know. So continue to have them have their tags when they get their kids. And one last thing, your badges. If you've never had a badge, never took a picture, when we adjourn this meeting here in just a couple of moments, you'll be able to go see Jacob Aragorn at that table. That's if you've never had a badge, okay? If you had a badge and you lost it, there is a replacement fee of $7. That's because there's a credential on the back of that badge. It's not just a sticker. There's a credential that'll allow you to get into the security features once every facility is alarmed with it. And that's what the charge is for. If you've just simply broken your badge, there is no fee for a replacement. If you've just simply broken it, there is no fee for the replacement. So if you need a badge at the adjournment of this meeting, come down and see Jacob Aragorn. He's going to be right there at that desk, and he can get you taken care of. Admin, there's Jacob right there waving his hand. Admin, are there any other announcements that we have? All right. Hey, on your way out, fill out those surveys. I'll take individual questions at the end of this. Fill out those surveys, turn them in on your way out, please. Thank you and be careful.